maybe. Who knows? Well, we're here, everybody.
We're here.
We are into the top 8. We are super excited. Our 1K plus. Not our judge here. Sorry about that.
My name is Ben.
And we're super excited to be here with everybody.
As tired as we are, we are super excited.
Yeah, it is 6.5 hours in of our tournament.
Yes.
We had 48 players to start.
We're down to 8.
Down to 8.
Down to 8. One of them we all know and love, Boston.
The
other time
is our feature match.
He is our feature match. Yes. And then his opponent, first time we're featuring him on my channel at least.
Okay.
I think he's only been up here a couple times to ETV Newmarket, and it's Lyle Waldman.
Ooh, yeah. And it's going to be a good match, I have to say. So these two players are well versed in their decks and in the legacy scene, I'd say as well, right?
Yes, very well known.
Boston, he's out there always grinding Magic.
He's a Magic grinder. He plays all formats. Just a note for this top 8 specifically, we just got information that it is open deck list.
Ooh, so they each are going to be able to what the other person has.
Yes, and they are allowed to refer to those deck lists during the game.
What?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bit of change of pace. And I think a little bit of that piece too was we have had some of these people on the featured stream, so it'll be important. So.
Oh, sorry. We are just getting an update, so only.
Okay. Sounds good. Do we want to let them? Okay, perfect. Yeah. So pre-game. Yeah.
Make an adjustment.
Okay. Yeah, just for the life total piece there, just so we can see. It looks like Tropical Island go, Underground Sea go, a blistering start to the game. So just a little bit of piece. They're only able to refer to the deck lists at the beginning of the game and sideboarding of the game. So not middle of the game. You can't take out that piece of paper and say, what? Are they going to play against me right now on turn 2? Not allowed. You got to have some good memory about these things. Ben's just kind of fixing the camera a little bit, figuring out where we need to go with it. And then we're going to get started. Zoom out a little bit. Lyle and Boston are going to be like, that's okay. Doesn't affect my hand too much. And it looks like Boston's got a lot of interaction here. So, turn 2, just going to play Misty.
Misty Rainforest.
Fetch. No Stifle. We don't have their deck list because they have their deck list.
Yeah.
But into a Tundra. Do you think he's going to play a Bean here? I think it's too early. Tarmogoyf.
I think any 2-minute play here might be bad. Because it'd be running it into a Daze. Unless he has a backup Force of Will or a Daze of his own. We'll see what happens. Okay, so here's Boston with a Brainstorm in response to an Up the Beanstalk. Does he find an answer?
He does find a Daze. He's going to probably snap that off right away.
I think so.
Yeah. You're going to put back 2 other cards and snap off this Daze. Get rid of the namesake of the deck, Up the Beanstalk. You're not going to be allowed to travel any further up with that card. It's just going to go right down into your graveyard.
Yeah.
So, a little bit of a tempo play here for Boston to start off our game. I'm going to probably replay that just so the least amount of information Lyle has.
Actually, what I found with Boston is that sometimes he doesn't do that.
You're right.
Yeah.
Aggressive.
I mean, again, Lyle is on the control decks, so Boston tries to control as much of what he can from Lyle. Okay. Here's a Life on the Loam from Lyle, though.
I'm wondering, is it a one-of in his deck?
I believe it's either 1 or 2 of. This is where the Sultai, even though it's 4-color bean, the Sultai does recycle Wastelands this way, and that's what gives it a step up above the white-based.
Oh, yes, he's showing the camera as well. Lyle knows. What the card was, I honestly didn't see. But
the excitement.
Yes,
right?
He did try to show us. I think. Because I do remember watching some of his games when we were on small breaks, right? As he was just going to time with this deck sometimes. And because we're in the top 8 right now, there is no time limit. These players could not indefinitely play, but they could go on for a bit longer than 50 minutes.
I'm sure they want to go go home and enjoy some dinner as well.
Yeah, exactly. So, gonna be fetching here. We get to see a little bit of it. Course.
I
think this is one of the new Surveil lands here.
Yeah, I think it's a Surveil land as well.
Just gonna be able to decide if he wants this top card or not.
Yeah, so just showing Wizards doing a good job with their new sets, eh?
I do have to say,
Standard sets affecting Legacy play.
yeah. And I really like this cycle of lands too, right? It doesn't feel overpowered. It feels just right. Yes, it comes in tapped, but it gets you, you can have a bit of decision and manipulation with the top of your deck.
Like control decks need that bump, right?
I think they need a little bit more card draw.
Or card selection,
Yeah.
card manipulation.
Yeah, I think it's good. Terminus to the graveyard. Yeah, there isn't really much happening here right now. Don't need that anytime soon.
Yeah. And if he needs to, I'm sure that Lyle has a Mystic Sanctuary somewhere in his deck to kind of put it back on top.
Yeah, absolutely. And thinking of within the last 3 years, right? 3-4 years, the Mystic Sanctuary, Lorien revealed these cards, right? Just having a huge impact on. How long ago was Mystic Sanctuary? When did that come in? That was,
I believe it was 2019.
So
with
more than
Throne of-
that.
Yeah, Throne of Eldraine.
It feels like yesterday, honestly. That set came into me personally, but
It feels like a lifetime ago.
it is, I guess, a lifetime ago.
Seeing Oko and Uro in the same standard rotation, that was actually when I stopped playing standard.
I could understand that. I just remember watching the vintage tournament. I should say the vintage tournament.
Oh,
when
where
Howard-
someone actually lost to Black Lotus.
Yeah, as
through
an elk.
combat damage.
Oh my goodness. Just wildness, I have to say. Is Boston still on one land?
He is, yes.
Okay, it looks like he's adjusting his chapstick to maybe manipulate the top of his deck to.
Could be a hidden rolled up card in there.
Yeah, exactly. So he's
Little
put the chapstick on to help him draw a land. And this is not good for Boston at all. Because Lyle just gets of course, he doesn't get to do whatever he wants, but he's got a lot of mana.
I will say, it is looking a little dire for Boston, but we have seen him crawl back from these kinds of game states before. He is an expert in his deck archetype. He's been playing it as long as I've heard his name. Mm-hmm. Yeah, when he was a kid, he would come with his dad, and he would borrow his dad's cards to play Delver.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I know the times I've traveled to Toronto, right, or seen Boston at larger events, and if he's in a Legacy tournament, it's Delver that he's playing.
Delver,
Yeah. And I wonder.
I think Lyle is playing with a proxy there. That is
Yeah.
a proxy Volcanic Island. So yeah, I'm so happy to see that players are taking advantage of this opportunity.
Yeah, and also looks like a proxy Misty there too, I think it is. So yeah, Misty Rainforest is a proxy. Looks like he's going to be casting Uro here.
Well, escaping it. From
Escaping,
there.
sorry.
Yes.
Escaping Uro. Deciding what he wants to get rid of here.
Is that a Triumph of St. Catherine?
It is a Triumph of St.
Okay.
Catherine that's
Yeah.
getting exiled here. Gonna Force of Will it. Yeah, it'd be pretty tough for him to deal with this Uro if it sticks, but it's gonna be back probably.
Yeah. So this is probably why Boston is just so light on board state here. Is just he has interaction.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so he has 2 Orcish Bowmasters, 1 Force of Will. I don't know what else.
So there's pros and cons to this kind of state of the game, right? Like Boston, even though he's behind on lands, he will find a land eventually, and his hand is full of interaction or cards that are non-deployable. Not terrible because he can interact with Lyle and stop him from taking his turn and taking advantage over Boston. But again, Lyle is the control deck. The longer this game goes on, the more advantage Lyle will be in the long run.
Yeah, and especially with this Life in the Loam in Lyle's hand, he maybe consider casting it, right? Uro's back in the graveyard. Why not try to fill that up next turn and cast it again?
Yeah, what could be catastrophic here is that if Lyle does find a wasteland, because he does have that Life from the Loam, it would be disastrous if Lyle ever found that wasteland.
Our Grixis, I think we talked about it earlier, does Grixis Delver even run? Basics?
No, they no longer run Basic Island.
So yeah, it would definitely be bad.
Yeah.
Go on. The phone, is it vibrating?
Oh, is it? No, you might be feeling from the fan.
Oh, okay, from the fan. Going crazy here after a couple of minutes. Oh, okay, it looks like he found a land, a wasteland.
Not going to do too much against Lyle's land base, though.
Yeah, and you don't really want to be using that right now, too. So.
I mean, he does have the on-color dual land, right? He can
Yes.
cast his Orcish Bowmasters. Maybe it's going to be really hard to catch it at an opportune moment. He's most likely looking for Lyle to brainstorm or ponder just to get a really efficient bowmaster. But again, Lyle has so many cards in hand. He is the control deck. He does have interaction for this bowmaster most likely.
Yeah, we'll see. And it's just, how much mana does he have here? 3, what, 7? 8?
Yeah, it looks like 8.
8 mana. Now, yes, the Grixis Delver deck does operate on, few lands per se, right? And they're not really getting over 4 too much times, right? So,
Yeah, but that statement only holds true when it's putting itself behind on lands while stripping resources away from the opponent. This is not the case. It's just been so many turns where Boston has lost his tempo sweep.
Yeah. Casting Uro again here. Kind of what we almost predicted, right? When he was Life from the Loam and gonna Force of Will it again.
Yeah, so this is what I meant by like Boston just trying to stave off Lyle trying to take advantage of his lack of lands and resources.
Okay, Bowmaster. End of turn, it looks like it.
Yep. Does Lyle have an answer? He should, right? He's got a grip full of cards.
And he definitely has a lot. It looks like he's almost considering. It looks like he has a Leyline Binding in his hand. So he might be responding to the trigger afterwards, right? And then maybe Leyline Bind the Orcish Bowmaster afterwards. Now, of course, we do know Boston does have 2 here.
Yeah, Lyle does have to be careful. I did see that very, very briefly. While cracking that Mystery Rainforest, he did put it into the hand. So he has to be very careful that he doesn't kind of mix up some cards here.
Yeah.
My eyes are watching like a hawk.
Oh yeah, we are. How many judge calls have we made here?
I'm not gonna say that. They don't need to know the behind the scenes.
Yeah, that's it. We're here to help.
All they need to do is enjoy what we're putting out.
Exactly. And I think the big thing is just making sure that we keep the board state as it needs to be, right?
Yes.
And we kind of do have a little bit of a duty to make sure of that too, right? Especially if we see something that needs to happen. Force of Will, right? Proxies are allowed at this tournament here, hence why you're seeing these ones here. And that Orcish Bowmaster isn't going to be around.
Yeah. So I think what happened is these are just kind of extra cards Law had around because he's been playing Beans for so long. He should have Force of Wills.
Yeah. I don't know. Does he have another Orcish Bowmaster? Boston does.
Yeah, I think because he was on one land for so long, I'm just happy that it was an underground sea that he has.
Oh my goodness.
Otherwise, these Bowmasters would not be looking very good.
If this was a volcanic, I feel like this would be over.
Oh yeah, I think Boston would have picked it up quite a while ago if it was a volcanic island.
Yeah. Gonna be tapping 2 here, green-blue, Life from the Loam. Get back here, 1 land.
Yeah, I mean, this is not terrible because this does put the Life from the Loam in the graveyard. It starts to feed the graveyard again so that Lyle can bring out that Uro again.
For win cons for Lyle here, is it really just Uro? And...
I do think it's Uro. There most likely won't be the Murktide region because the Uro looks to be the main win condition here.
Yeah.
They don't interact well at all with each other, right? Murktide really wants to exile those cards, while Uro also does want to exile those cards. And then in that weird situation where you do have a Murktide region on the board and you use an Uro to escape to try to grow the Murktide, it's just a win more strategy.
Yeah.
So typically these Bean decks, they lean either Uro or Murktide, usually not both.
Yeah. Looks like Brainstorm at the first draw trigger. He's going to dredge first and then do the other piece, which is a very fun little thing always, right? Whenever you need some draw. Yeah. And then probably going to be recasting Uro here, looks like it.
Yeah, it looks like he's setting up his double blue, double greens.
And there it is. Green, green, blue, blue. Uro. 3rd time's a charm, right?
I mean, one of these days, like again, so we spoke while Chris was playing, how Delver has the answers to most things, but it does require a lot of resources.
Yeah.
So the more Lyle plays his Uro, the less resources Boston will have to answer that.
He doesn't want to play this Terminus anytime soon.
Yeah.
Boston is in a tough spot here.
Yeah, like, again, he's not finding his lands, and it's, like, at this point, I don't know how much that matters, but I think the only way out of this is to find like a petty theft. I guess like the Molten Colossus could also be good, but he needs to find that volcanic island very soon.
Yeah, volcanic, fetch for it, right, if you can.
Yeah, like the moment this Uro attacks, it's going to be really bad news for Boston because even gaining 3 points of life puts Delver really, really far behind.
Yeah, he's gonna. It's gonna be tricky here. It's still Boston's turn here, is it not?
Yeah, it's also rough where like Lyle hasn't committed a ton of resources to kind of stop these Bowmasters from coming down. So even if Boston is able to land a Murktide, Lyle might just be able to answer it with like a Murderous Cut or something.
So upkeep, he's playing Bowmaster, and then in response, we're going to Brainstorm.
Ooh, I think that's a Dress Down, an Uro, and a Tundra.
Play Dress Down here. Do you think? Just let it
Yeah.
resolve. Play Dress Down, doesn't grow the Orc, right? Can't ping.
Well, I think you can Dress Down before the Bowmaster comes in, so then it doesn't ping and it doesn't
Yeah.
grow. But it looks like Lyle doesn't really care.
It's 1 point of damage. He's going to be swinging in, right, for
Yeah,
6
and
here.
his Uro is a 6/6. His Bowmaster or Boston's Bowmaster is a 1/1, and then the Orc Army is only a 2/2. So yeah, Boston's looking in a he needs desperate need of help. Like Lyle's just making every single land drop.
Has he missed one? I don't even know if
I
he
don't
has.
think he has. No, I mean it does help that he has Life from the Loam.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm just surprised he hasn't found a Wasteland yet.
I know, that is true. And out of all this, right, like, this is just an insurmountable climb, it feels like, for
Yeah,
Boston.
and now Uro is going to be allowing Lyle to play additional lands if needed.
Yeah, this is... Doesn't put anything in, no land for hand.
Yeah, Boston going to go down to 12.
And... I don't know what he draws to get out of here.
It would have to be like a petty theft. It's really hard. Lyle has so many cards in hand.
Hey, thanks for the follow, Invader. So, yeah, this is... Petty theft, I think, is... Yeah, you're right. What's this here?
There's another Leyline Binding.
Give me that, he says. Give me that. So I think they're both under... Both ley lines have 2 Bowmasters, right? One.
Yes, yeah.
So just kind of...
A Bowmaster each.
Yep.
Lyle must be laughing right now. He's sitting so comfortably here.
Legend rule.
He's going to do the triggers first.
Yep.
Going to do the triggers first. So obviously going to sacrifice the one he just played because it is going to die due to its own trigger.
Draw concede.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Does Boston have another Bowmaster in the hand?
he does.
Wow.
Is that his 4?
It is the 4th Bowmaster.
Oh my. Well, at least we know he's the master of Bowmasters and
Yeah,
drawing them.
he's the...
But he's not the master of lands. That is
No.
definitely Lyle.
I don't think any Delver player is a master of lands.
That is true. That is true. That is true. And even sometimes the master of lands aren't the master of lands.
Yes,
Making the-
that's a kind of that's a jab, but yeah.
I think Boston's doing a quick little count here of things,
Yeah.
seeing what's been exiled here. But this is looking pretty tough, you know. Thanks for tuning in, everyone, right now. And, you know, this game isn't over just yet. We're in our top 8, right, for those who are watching.
Yep.
At our 1K plus, we had 48 players. We're down to 8. We're watching our first matchup, Lyle on 4-color Bean, and we're watching Boston on Grixis Delver.
Yeah.
And it's looking pretty rough for Boston here.
It is. I think he is just trying to gather as much information as he can. Like, these guys have played against each other so much. I don't know. Like, again, Boston being the grinder that he is, he needs to make sure that he absolutely is going to lose this game before scooping.
Yeah.
Like, if there is a sliver of a chance, Boston will take that sliver and he will exploit it, and he will... I've seen him come back from things like this before, so
Yeah.
we'll see. Like, it'll have to go 2 ways. Boston will have to draw incredibly well, and Lyle will need to, like, just not have anything, which is very unlikely because of how long this game has gone on.
Yeah. So he pings it, right? So he draws from the arrow, right?
Yep.
And may block it to kill the arrow here. Goes to blocks. Says okay.
Yep. All right, so what's the likeliness that Boston can interact with Lyle for 23 turns and kill with this one single Bowmaster?
Chat, what do you think? 23 turns? Uninterrupted.
Wow, this is a lot of mana.
Is he?
Wow.
He just says, go away.
I mean,
Hard
at least it gives Boston a chance to say that he drew 5 Bowmasters.
Yeah. So, double Brainstorm and Murktide. Okay. Is he going to get a land here?
He finds another wasteland.
Oh my goodness.
Oh no.
It's going to take 20. Yeah. More than 23 now. Yeah, that is for sure. With his board state, it will be forever for him to attack.
yeah.
Well, I guess how many cards does he have? He's going to win on decking Lyle out at this point.
Yeah.
That's his strategy. It's also, Lyle's seen a lot of cards, but he hasn't seen another bean.
Yeah, and I think he's actually okay with that because of how in the driver's seat that he is. Beans really helps a deck kind of exploit the advantages and kind of the mid-range push
Yeah.
to get to that late game and to try to get to this end state. Because Lyle is already in this end state, I don't think he actually wants Beans. Because it is a force to draw. So it is...
It's not a May.
Yeah. It is possible that Lyle would deck out if he does have those Beans. And because of how many cards Lyle has in hand, he just doesn't need them.
Boston's Brainstorm block too, right?
He is.
So we know that at least one of the cards on top is a Wasteland.
Yeah.
One of the two. Just which order it is, we don't know yet.
Yeah.
But that's gotta feel rough.
Ooh. That shuts down almost all interaction from Boston.
Okay. So you gonna scoop down?
Yeah, I think this should be like a nail in the coffin for this game.
I feel like you also don't want, you've been playing for so long, almost 7 hours you've been here for.
Yeah.
You don't want your mental just like crack and like be like, and you don't want it to
Yeah.
be too much fatigue, especially if
Yeah.
you're able to get out the next 2 games, right? You don't want just too much fatigue of grinding out a game that, statistically
Yeah.
speaking, you're not going to win.
So this is actually, you bring up a very interesting point, and that is something that I don't think is actually commonly talked about in the world of Magic. So taking like a step back from competitive Magic, and everyone plays Commander, everyone is like, yeah, we enjoy the game, and especially in a digital world where Arena is primarily the format or the way people actually engage in competitive Magic nowadays, is people don't really talk about how fatigue and mental tax playing physical and paper Magic is. And playing in a almost 7-round tournament and trying to keep your composure, and especially when you know your opponent so well, like these two, like Boston and Lyle, they play at the same locals, they know each other very well. Right? They know how they play, they know the decks that they play, they know their decisions. They're trying to play that a deeper level of mental game, where they're saying like, okay, how are they going to play in this way? Are they going to adapt to how I'm going to adapt? How do they think I'm going to adapt? So they're going to be playing like a really deep mental game here.
Yeah, and it's tough too because you don't have things happen automatically for you. You have to remember your triggers. You have to remember all these pieces.
Yeah.
And 7 hours in, right? You miss one trigger, that could be the game.
Yeah.
Right?
And it also depends like how their previous rounds are. Like we're here in the commentators booth, we don't really know how these players are. We don't know how early their rounds ended. Were they able to get food in between their rounds? Are they well hydrated? They should be. Yeah. So
I hear you and all that, and I think it stems across a lot of esports too, right? Or
Yes.
games, right? I know for myself in Smash tournaments that I've played in back in the day, right, competitively, after 6 hours and you haven't had any food and your brain starts getting a little wobbly, and
it's mush. It's basically mush.
It's mush, right? And if
Yeah.
you're playing complicated decks that are tight, right? Every life point matters, every play, right?
Yeah.
Every hand you need to keep.
And it's something very prevalent in Delver, where like almost every single decision that you make matters.
Yeah.
At every stage of the game. The same with Beans. Like, I probably would have chalked up Lyle to losing that game as soon as he played into that daze, but outside factors happen, variance happens, and Lyle was able to just make every land drop from there on out, and
land drop.
Everything swayed in a bit in his favor there.
Yeah, it worked out. So we'll see if Boston's able to come around for game 2, right? Have a bit more of a board presence and a bit more interactive within it. I know that he did the best that he could with 4 Bowmasters, right? And the hands that he was given.
Yeah.
So
the thing is, what Boston needs to leverage here is speed, right? It does take as we saw, it does take a really long time for Lyle to establish his win condition.
Yeah.
Right? I think the only thing that we saw that closes out the game, I guess there's 2. We saw the Uro and we saw the Triumph of St. Catherine. I don't know, because he is 4 colors and we did see the Xander's Lounge, he does have access to red.
Yeah.
And we do see Leyline Binding, so we know that he's core white with the Triumph of St. Catherine and the Leyline Binding. He could be playing 4th Aerolingus as another way to close out the game.
He is. I have seen that card as well.
Okay,
so the 4th Aerolingus. And I don't think he'll be ever trying to slam it turn 2, right? Especially against Boston,
Delver,
right?
yeah.
So whereas Boston's gonna have those creatures on the board, hopefully earlier, right?
Yeah.
Especially with Orcish Bowmaster too.
Like typically the state of the game that Lyle was in, kind of in those last few moments that we saw before the Boston picked up his cards, was ideally where you wanted to like play the 4th Aerolingus. It's basically Lyle's way of saying, let's go to the next game.
Yeah.
Right. I have you. You're at 2 lands.
Yeah.
You have no blockers. I'm making 8 2/2 trample haster humans. I'm just gonna swing for 16.
And I'm gonna become the Monarch.
Yes. It doesn't even get that far.
Yeah.
Right? Boston just die
Yeah.
in the end step or in damage step, and we won't get to that end state. But
You won't get that little crown and draw that extra little card, but
yeah. So I think I do think that Lyle is the deck and archetype that he's playing. He is in favor of winning this match. We just need to hope that Boston draws like a perfect balance of playing the tempo cards, so having the Dragon's Rage Channeler, having a Delver flip, or having like kind of like an early uninterrupted Murktide, while also being able to disrupt Lyle's setup, is where Boston is really going to take over this game if he's able to establish that.
Yeah. So, it looks like the players are just about ready. They're going to be resolving their mulligans if they want to resolve a mulligan here.
Yeah, I do think I saw a Pyroblast from Boston's hand, so that's going to do very, very well here. Obviously, it doesn't deal with up the beanstalk in any way, but looks like both players are keeping.
Both keeping 7. That's nice to see.
Yeah.
Spell Bomb as well. Looks like it. Day's going to shuffle and draw. I wonder if he's looking for a land here.
Yeah, I think maybe he might be looking for a little bit more disruptive pieces here. He is on the play. Was he on the play at the beginning? Or was Lyle in the a higher seed?
I'm trying to remember here. I think Lyle was the higher seed, I want to say.
Yeah, oh yeah, because he did play Beanstalk while Boston only had the underground seed.
Yes, that's right, yeah. And then he dazed.
All right,
Okay.
so here's Lyle with an Island Ponder.
Ooh, Island Ponder?
Are they signed by the same person?
It looks like
Are
it.
they both signed?
Yeah, they must be signed copies. Okay, so let's make sure he does it right. Draws the 1, just puts it in his hand right away.
Yeah. Boston top decks a Brainstorm.
Does he have land?
Is he just passing?
No way he just passes here. Especially with the bauble, right?
He could be saving a bauble
Okay,
for a Dragon's Rage
I think
Channeler.
he does have a Misty here.
Yeah. Does Lyle play Orcish Bowmasters?
I don't think so. I don't think I've seen him play it yet. Is he passing?
No, I think he's trying to tap his land.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out his hand movements here. Okay, 2 lands there.
So now Boston is starting to see all the lands.
Yeah. So he's got 3 now.
Yeah.
Put 2 back.
He does have to be very careful Like, did we? I don't think we saw a wasteland
Wow, minus four.
from Lyle, right?
No, I don't think so. With
Okay.
the 4 colors that he's playing too, it'd be pretty hard, but he could.
I'd have to imagine there's no way Lyle's not playing at least one wasteland
Yeah.
because he is playing that Light from the Loam.
And especially against the lands matchup that may come up too, right? And we saw a lot of lands decks here today, right? So
Yeah, but I don't think a lot of people were expecting that.
no,
Yeah.
no.
All right. So is Boston might be wanting to keep one of those lands that he put on the top.
Yeah.
Okay, so just gonna pass the turn. There's a tropical island off of the top for Lyle. Going to play Carpet of Flowers.
Ooh, I saw him play this earlier, and this is a good card. So it's gonna.
Yeah.
You want to talk about this card?
This
is good in the matchup.
card is very, very innocuous. A lot of people are like, "Oh, just 1 mana for like per turn." It's really not. This is what really, because all of the lands that Boston plays are islands other than fetch lands. This generates way more mana than a lot of people would realize. So what it is at the beginning of your main phase, if you have not used the Carpet of Flowers, it will generate 1 color of any mana for each island your opponent controls. Right? So that means you don't actually have to use the Carpet of Flowers before the combat step.
Use it on whichever one you
Yeah,
want.
so if you can use it before combat and get that mana if you want to cast something, but you can also use it post combat main phase as well.
That's
So,
interesting.
but it has to be one or the other. It
Yeah.
can't be both.
yeah. Well, if it was both, oh my goodness, might be
Yeah.
from Modern Horizons 3.
Yeah,
That's where it might be from.
They could
Carpet of Flowers.
power creep it.
Yeah, like they could.
Yeah. I don't think you need to though. Please
No.
don't. Please
No,
don't.
please
Wizards.
don't.
Please don't.
And I'll just say, for every land your opponent controls.
Knowing Wizards, it'll be exactly the same, but they'll make it free.
True.
Yeah.
Pitch.
It's like exile a land from your hand, you can play for free.
Yeah. And shuffle your opponent's great.
Yeah, just start tacking things on.
Yeah, exactly. Just why not? Make
At
it
the beginning
huge.
of your at the beginning of your combat step, choose one. Your creatures gain vigilance or lifelink or
Yeah.
whenever they attack, you get mana.
Yeah, something wild.
Yeah.
Okay, it looks like this is all on Lyle's end step still. I guess he's maybe deciding what he wants to do with Bobble here.
Yeah.
Or
So
Lyle is not moving at all. It looks like he's frozen.
Is it? I think it's on Boston to do something.
Yeah.
There's a flooded strand off of top of Lyle's deck.
Yeah.
Boston finds Ponder Polluted Delta. Gonna crack the Polluted Delta. So actually,
Oh. Okay. Get rid of that.
I might be wrong. So Boston is playing a Surveil land.
Yeah, he played the Surveil land last
In the last game?
Yeah, the last
Or-
turn.
Okay.
Like on the end step, right? That's what he surveilled.
Yeah.
He surveilled.
Oh,
I
was under the impression that he was only playing Volcanic Islands and Underground Seas.
Okay.
So this just goes to show how powerful these new lands are.
Yeah, they're good. They're good. So. is
Ooh,
that-
that's a price of progress in Boston's hand.
Oh, that's gonna do big. It will do a lot to Boston too, right? But
Not as much as you would think, because he does have wastelands to keep his land count low.
There we go.
Right, so Delver is notoriously known for being able to be such an effective and incredibly disruptive and aggressive deck, while only operating with like usually 1 to 2 lands.
hey, he had that last game, I have to say.
Yes, but we do
yeah,
have to
yes.
keep in mind that we do. A lot of Legacy players consider Wasteland as half a spell.
That's
right?
true.
Half a land, half a spell.
That is true.
It just so happened that Boston drew a bunch of them last game.
A bunch.
Yeah.
Bunch of the same spell too of Orcus Bowmaster. So.
Oh, yeah. And already drawing Wasteland against Lyle's, 8 lands that he had?
Yeah,
Not
not the
great.
best. I wonder what Boston's thinking about here. He's got, I think one of the cards was Mistress Bauble. I don't know if it was another land. These players can take more time to think too, right?
Yeah. Well, especially with in a top 8 where the rounds are untimed. Yeah.
Thank you, Lyle.
Yes.
Thank you.
We have to make sure that these players do not have earphones in there. 'Cause
Yeah,
we are live streaming, so
yeah,
they
that is
can,
true.
they can.
If you can hear us, Boston, keep shuffling. No.
Yeah.
There
So
we go.
he does resolve this ponder. It is going to be a shuffle, so the 3 cards are not good enough for him to want to keep it.
What are you looking for in this instant?
He needs a threat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something, maybe a Murktide
Wow,
soon.
he finds a wasteland.
think
I mean,
he-
it's not terrible. Like, in this position, he can start to keep Lyle constricted in terms of resources.
Doesn't want to go for it, though.
No.
He's notioning that he does have Orcish Bowmaster here, right?
Is Molten Collapse an instant or a
Sorcery.
It is a sorcery? Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's sorcery.
Yeah. Alright, so Lyle playing a Tundra for his land drop as the turn.
He might just pass.
I mean, it's not on Lyle to be doing anything,
Yeah.
right?
He has the Beanstalk in play, right? So
Yeah.
does not flash it in.
Is that another brainstorm off the top of Boston?
Yep.
How many times has he top decked that for a turn?
Yeah.
I mean, good news for Boston is that he doesn't really need to think about a Bowmaster from Lyle.
Yeah. He does have Delver, Murktide,
And a Nile Spellball.
yeah, and a Nile Spellbomb. But he does have some threats. It depends on what he wants to start trying to look for here. Because he could try to stack a Delver Prio here, try to get to flip next turn.
Yeah, I think no matter what, he's going to be leading with this Delver. There's no way he's playing Murktide into Lyle's 4 lands and like a bunch of unknowns.
Yeah, stack a spell, right?
Is he putting Price of Progress?
He's putting Price of Progress.
So this is like a really deep mind game, right? Because whatever he puts on top, if he is going to be playing this Delver, Lyle will be seeing it, right?
And it might make Lyle, not as keen to get as many. Well, I think you might only have 3 non-basic or 3 basics, right? So
Yeah, this is actually this could be really deep from Boston, right? Like he's going to be revealing that Price of Progress, I believe, to Lyle, and then flipping that Delver. But before he draws it, he could be shuffling that Price of Progress away with this Polluted Delta.
Yeah.
So this could be a really deep play from Boston.
he does have the Plow, but are you? Nope. That's right. Okay, he's gonna reveal it.
So here's the trigger from Boston.
He
To
knows.
reveal Price of Progress. It is going to flip.
He's gonna write it down,
Lyle
but
going to write it down. So Boston is just going to draw it, not going to shuffle. Here is the Leyline Binding.
I think it is the ley line binding here.
Yep. Just going
Make
to trigger the up the beanstalk.
Will he play Orcish Bowmaster here in response? I feel like it's a bit early still, but
I do think so too. I think Boston. Oh.
okay. He has been demonstrating that he could have it for a couple of turns, at least
Yeah.
2 turns. So, Lyle
So,
would understand
I
that.
think like the question is like what is the upside of playing Bowmaster now opposed to some time else? Right?
And so I think he just wants to kind of show the stack here, right?
Yep.
Okay. Brainstorm and
Yeah,
response.
so this is also it gets really awkward. So this is where it's showing the player's expertise is Lyle very patient with a brainstorm. Like we don't know how long he's had it in his hand, and he knows that Boston is playing Bowmasters. So this is where people wanted Bowmaster to be banned.
Yes.
But
This-
they have to understand that Bowmasters does keep Brainstorm in check.
It does. Keeps a lot of these, heavy cantrip, right? Heavy cantrip decks
Yep.
in check.
It's just unfortunate that a lot of the Brainstorm style decks, most of the time they're Delver.
Yeah.
And now Delver is just playing Orcish Bowmaster as well.
Yeah, they're like, let's just throw it in.
Yeah.
I feel like it always kind of becomes that a little bit with Delver, right? It's like, what's the best card? It's usually in my colors already, and if not, I'm going to make it
Yeah.
even more.
Yeah.
So, He may let it enter, then on the trigger, probably plow. So, maybe the guess here. Yep, and it looks like it. Did Boston have a Force of Will in hand?
I don't think so.
No. Because he surveilled one away a while ago. And draws another Leyline Binding. Damage doesn't happen.
Yeah, so this is really tricky because Leyline Binding is just such a strong card, and even though Delver is can be an aggressive deck, their threats are quite short.
Yeah.
Or few and far between. Right? Realistically, they only have 4 Delvers, they only have 4 Dragon's Rage Channelers, and most of the time, only three
Murktides, I think, are running
3
right now.
Murktide regions.
They used to do 2, right? But I think that was when they were doing Ledger Shredder, was it not? Or
No, they used to be 2 when they were jamming 4 Orcish Bowmasters, so they were still playing with their numbers. But the only other time that they've been fluctuating is when they were jamming 4, when Expressive Iteration was still legal.
Oh, goodness me.
Yeah.
I still have to deal with that in Modern.
It's true, but you don't have to deal with Wastelands in
You're
Modern.
right. That is
And
true.
Days.
Yeah, that's true. So,
Yeah.
honestly, this is going to get Leyline in response. You know, I feel like if by Lyle this turn, he's not going to let this Murktide attack. Especially when Boston's tapped out here, he already kind of knows that he doesn't have a Force of Will because this would have been Force of Will earlier, and he's going to draw a card. The fact that Beanstalk triggers from this too is just kind of wild. Always, it replaces itself, right?
Yeah.
So good.
So when I was in like the really early stages of learning Legacy and when Up the Beanstalk was released, I was actually like surprised that Sultai was the best kind of version of this deck because there's not a ton of ways to actually proc Up the Beanstalk, right? Like in the very early days, people were like, oh, you can proc it with Fury, you can proc it with Solitude. Force of Will was always the main way of procking this card, but like again, in Lyle's version of this deck, his threat isn't Murktide Regent, it's Uro, and Uro does not proc Up the Beanstalk, whereas Murktide does.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
I'm actually very interested in seeing how well Lyle is doing with this deck when he's not proccing Up the Beanstalk all too often.
What's our the Triumph of
St. Catherine?
St. Catherine. That would proc it,
does,
too, right?
It does proc it, but again, how often are we really seeing this card?
Yeah, and he's probably not running more than 2, right? If anything, in his list.
He could be running 3. I'm finding it very hard to see that he's running 4.
Yeah.
Because you don't really want to be drawing it off.
No,
right?
no.
It is a really complicated card because it does have Miracle.
Yeah.
So
And he is playing the Terminus version too, right? So like he has Terminus. We've seen it. We saw it last game get rid of one Orcish Bowmaster. Hardcast. So
and again, this is also Lyle's like specialty because he really loved playing Miracle top. So
there we go.
I think he's having a lot of fun playing this Miracle Styles version of Beans opposed to playing like the best version of Beans. So
that's fair. I can respect that a lot. I can respect that.
I really like seeing different variants of different decks. It just goes to show how wide Legacy is.
Yeah, we know that the Price of Progress is in his hand, right? So this is something Lyle does have to always think about. I think he's pretty safe right now, right?
It's, again, so from Lyle's perspective, it is hard to kind of keep track to whether or not Boston does have this Price of Progress, right?
Yeah.
He's cantripped so much that he could have shuffled it away, right? Boston could say, like,
I have it or I don't have it.
Yeah.
Do you know or do you not know?
Yeah, I actually had a little mini panic attack there. I thought that the camera had stalled, but I think just both players froze.
Yeah, Lyle will sit so still sometimes.
Yeah, and
I'm
then
just
Boston will just kind of also stop for a moment.
It's like, oh no, our camera. We've had a little bit of a little bit of tech issues today, but nothing too bad, right? We're here in Newmarket. We're grinding it out.
I do think the table is shifting a little bit. We are seeing a little bit more of the bottom.
Yeah.
But as long as the life totals aren't cut off, I think we should be okay.
We need to install like a full-on, like fixed type of device somewhere. Okay, plays a Delver. It's one of those check cards, right? And Leyline Binding when it hits. I wonder if he let priority pass at any time.
Yeah.
Gotta just
I
happen.
think we just saw Lyle top like a 4th Aerlingus.
Ooh, okay, this could be...
He has to be very careful because Boston does have plenty of cards in his hand. So he actually doesn't have any way of counterspelling, but let's see if Boston can bluff that he can.
If he jams it, Price of Progress... Oh, that player. Oh, I thought it was just...
So
I thought it was everyone.
here's the awkwardness of Price of Progress is that Lyle has done such a good job of removing Boston's way of dealing damage that even if Boston does cast this Price of Progress, Lyle could just be like, yeah, sure,
Yeah.
I'll take it. You don't have any ways of like lowering my life total in any significant amount. Once I draw an Uro, I'll just gain my life back.
Yeah, absolutely. Boston did draw Force of Will here, so
Ooh, that's
4th
a really good-
Aerlingus is in check now. Right, that timing is gone.
Yes.
So
I mean, unless Lyle has force backup of his own.
yeah, he could. It looks like maybe just another Beanstalk is going to be played here. Gonna draw.
Yeah, I think Boston might consider fighting over this. Having playing against double Beanstalk is much different than playing against Kwan.
Lets it happen.
Oh yeah. So Lyle is now gonna kind of just recreate the state of the game that there was last turn, where he has his lands. Boston's wastelands are starting to now do nothing, and Lyle's just gonna have so much card advantage from these Beanstalks.
Lyle's going to be careful, though. Price does 10 right now here, if my calculation is correct.
Oh, and he is at 3.
Yeah, and he's at 3, and DRC is here. Lightning Bolt's in the deck as well, right?
Yeah,
so,
okay, so-
if it wasn't boarded out, this could be something to think about.
And Boston has
it's
shown before
very-
that Price of Progress has won him games.
Yes. So there's a Teferi. That I feel like that will be fought over.
All right, so Dragon's Rage Chandler does resolve.
And die.
Yep, there's a Source of Plowshare. Boston going to go up to 21.
He's just checking, make sure that there's Delirium. Okay. Back to his turn. Lyle.
Lyle does have a Hydroblast
Okay.
for this Price of Progress. Is that
Oh,
a
he does have...
wave?
That's a Wasteland, yeah.
That is a Wasteland.
It's a Wasteland. So, he can Wasteland, his own land if he wanted to as well. Go down, right?
Yeah.
Technically 2 there, but it's going to get rid of... Yeah, get rid of the
So I
Volcanic
think
here.
Boston is for sure floating some sort of mana, but just going to let it dissipate. Oh, here's a Teferi from Lyle.
Does he fight over this? I feel like if Boston fights over this, then... Well, 4th Aerlingus just became way better.
It does, yes. Also, Price of Progress just became way worse.
Yep. I think this might be game.
Yeah, this is
he can kill Teferi here, but...
Oh, so choosing to get rid of the Teferi over Beanstalks.
Is he gonna fight? Nope. It says okay. Whoa, 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 whoa,
Yeah, so
whoa,
this is something that we were talking about a little before. While Lyle does have to be very careful while doing that.
Yeah. I was about to say that can't go in your hand. Yeah.
Okay, how does Boston pilot his way to victory from here?
He has not had a threat stick, and if it was a little 1/1 orc trying to take down, all of the kingdom by himself.
This is what the 4-color beans opposed to Sultai beans really excels at, right? The really big main difference are these leyline bindings. So,
And they've all drawn a card.
yeah.
What is he? Price? No.
Oh, he finds a merchant. He's had this merchant for quite a while, actually,
Yeah.
right?
See if he tries to make it as big as he can.
I mean, Boston, this is going to be a hats off to Boston. He's piloted this so well. 3 line lines have been used. How many sword splashes? 1? Wow.
Yes, the 4th.
He had, yes.
Oh my. He has seen so many cards. Wow.
Wow.
That's hard to play around though, right? Like,
I mean, there's 2 beanstalks on the board,
yeah.
right?
How many cards has he seen through
Yeah.
everything, right? Teferi, beanstalks, right? Each one has drawn him 1. That one drew 2. Yes, it was the 4th, but you know, it's. I wonder what will happen here. Life from Loam.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it finds the wasteland. So now Lyle can just take Boston out of this game. I don't think Boston has a way of dealing with this loop. Boston is just going to slowly lose all of his
Still
land.
10, yeah.
He's not going to be able to. Actually, if this is the path that Lyle wants to take, Price of Progress could be very, very damaging.
And Boston doesn't even want to wasteland him because he has 10 damage from Price right now, right? So he kind of, if anything, maybe holds it just to kind of showcase, right? Like,
yeah. And at this point, we're just going to see Boston stop playing lands.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess he technically could play the Wasteland if he wants to hard cast a Force of Will.
It kind of tells, I guess, a little bit too. The other part of he has the price, right? So
Yeah.
I think this time he will. Yeah, kind of going with what you were saying.
Yeah, so this might be the best play from Boston is playing that Wasteland out. So he can hard cast the Force of Will, and then he can technically, once he's ready to play this Price of Progress, he can Wasteland his own Wasteland.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But again, he's at 20 life. I don't think he really cares.
No. And if anything, do you just dredge Loam here, get back Wasteland, and just Wasteland this last red source?
Yeah, I think that's what Lyle should be doing, is focusing on just stripping away all of Boston's lands.
What is he playing here?
There's a Triumph of St. Catherine, plays it straight into a Force of Will.
Yeah. Nope. But draws 2, right?
Wow, double Uros.
Of all times, that's...
Yeah, you
Does
really...
he have a land drop for it?
He does. He has a Flooded Strand.
Oh, wow.
This is not what you want to be seeing from Boston. Like, Uro just being a natural source of life gain is exactly what you don't want to be.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
he'll
and
go up to 50. Yeah, this
Lyle
I feel
appropriately playing around that Price of Progress, finding a forest. This is just slipping away from Boston completely.
I don't see too much Boston can do at this point now. He only has Price of Progress in his hand, right?
Yes.
He's going to go to 15. He has 10 from Price of Progress. Even if he drew a Bolt, if he kept them in his deck, right?
Yeah.
That
He's completely out of the range.
Right. Oh wait, he did play. Oh, from the hand. So he actually, if he has Bolt, it's 15. Nope.
Is it a daze? Did he find a daze?
Yeah, he found a daze. I'm a bit dazed and confused though because Lyle is taking this. I think he's gonna walk away.
I think from here, Lyle is smooth sailing.
Yeah. So
he has so much card manipulation. He's got so much card advantage. He's now found his 2 ways of winning the game. He has an Uro in the graveyard ready to escape. He also has a 4th Air Lingus as well, just as backup. I think Lyle has nothing to worry about at this point in time.
Yeah, it's kind of...
He's like at the point where Delver has no way of actually permanently dealing with this Uro.
Yeah, this looks pretty locked up.
Yeah. Because I think Boston shuffled away his one way of dealing with these Uros, and it was the Nile Spellbomb.
Yes. He doesn't want it?
Yeah.
Doesn't want the other bean? Yeah, no, he definitely doesn't. He's drawn enough cards.
A lot of people would say that 3rd Beanstalk would be win more. Actually, I think it would be losing.
Yeah.
Put him in a state of losing. All right, here's a Ponder from Lyle.
I don't know. I guess the only thing is, like, what is Lyle trying to line up right now? Okay.
I think Lyle is just making sure he has answers to everything.
Hydro, yeah. And
there it is. Lyle is going to take it over
Okay.
Boston, and he's going to secure his spot in the semifinals.
yeah. Wow, good game.
Yeah.
So,
That was very, very well played by Lyle.
yeah. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. That's a game, I have to say. Both
Yeah.
players fought it out. I don't know about you, but man, that game made me like I feel the 7 hours and 21 minutes.
It's starting to
head in,
take
I
a toll
think.
on me, yeah.
So-
But you know what? I'm gonna say, great job, Boston. You made it to the top 8. You are very high in the rankings, I believe. He is in the top 3 for league points.
Yeah.
So he might not be able to get any more, but he's pretty much locked in for being able to get one of the top spots there.
That's good. That's good. And for those who don't know, right, we run Legacy of the North runs kind of a tournament. There's points for it as well. So players that are competing today, right, every win they get points. I think place as well. Is that correct? You get points too, is it? Or is it just how many points you get for each win? You get points based on your ranking in the tournament?
No, so it'll just be
wins?
like however many games you've won. That's how
Okay.
many. Yeah. So even if you win the tournament, you'll only still get the amount of points for the amount of games that you've won.
Okay, that makes sense. So, yeah, these players are fighting for those points, right? They and are trying to get into this tournament at the end of kind of the season, as we say of it, right? So,
Yeah.
it'll be good.
they are these. This is going to be one of the final tournaments that, or larger tournaments
Yep.
that players can be competing in to kind of qualify for the Spring Invitational for Legacy of the North. That'll be hosted by you guys here at Enter the Battlefield. It'll most likely be within the middle of April. April is a break month for the league, so any tournaments played in April at local level, any 1Ks that are played, they will not contribute to players' league points.
Yeah.
So league will start up again in
Where did
May.
the necklace go when we're done with them?
You keep yours, and then Boston's, he's out.
Yeah, where does it go?
To him, or the recycling bin.
No.
Or, I'm just kidding. I don't know.
Yeah, I presume you're keeping them for cover.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So, recycling.
No, I need to take them. I need
Yeah.
to take them and I post them online.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
good. That's good.
We got to share it with the rest of the world. If any of you guys at home watching want to see what Boston was playing today, that will be up pretty soon. We'll most likely put it up onto MTG Top 8.
Yep.
That's most likely where it's going to go. If you want to know and it's not going to be posted on MTG Top 8, you can always join our Discord. You can message us personally and I'll get it to you somehow.
Yeah, we'll be able to pass that along. So I think at this time, we are going to be having we just had our quarterfinals.
Yep.
We're going to have semifinals next, and then we'll be into our finals. Right?
Yeah,
So-
as long as the players want to play, we'll
Yeah.
be covering it.
Yeah, we'll kind of see what happens. We'll come back after a little break, see if there's other games that are happening still, kind of behind us here, and we'll be back. So make sure to follow us on our socials right here. Oh, I don't know if we froze. It looks like it on our screen. At Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly known as Twitter, Instagram and TikTok at Enter the Battlefield or ETB Canada. Like and subscribe, and make sure if you're able to drop a follow for us, please do that. And also for Ben and the channel that he runs, if he wants to talk about that.
Yeah, you can follow me on YouTube or subscribe. It really helps. You can go to youtube.com/@lazymtg, or you can go to twitch.com/lazytcg.
Awesome, yeah. And all these games will be spliced afterwards, right, and posted online, so you'll be able to watch it. So
Yeah, you can find them on the ETB's YouTube account,
Yep.
or you can find it on my account as well.
yeah, so check us out. Check us out on the platforms, and we will see everybody in a bit with our semifinals. Thanks, everybody. Epic transition into epic transition. And we are live once again, everyone. Welcome back. We just finished our quarterfinals. We were going to be getting into our semifinals. Our top 4 players have spoken to each other, and they've agreed.
After 7.5 rounds of playing Magic,
They've agreed to split.
yes.
So
I can't fault them for that.
I can't either. We'd be maybe here to 11 or 12, so I can understand that fully. We were just chatting ourselves, right? It's been an amazing stream. It's been a long day, though, too, right?
Yes.
For the players who have been battling it out, casting lots of spells, trying to misplay as little as they can, and I can understand wanting to split the 1K plus Legacy tournament that we just concluded. So it's been an amazing day. It's nighttime now, but it's been an amazing evening too.
Yeah.
And we're going to be coming to a close in just a moment. So are there anything that you think we need to wrap up before we kind of shut the doors, go to bed?
No, I just want to say congratulations to all those who played top 4, all those that made top 8. You guys did a magnificent job playing Magic. You know, thank you for everyone who was being so cooperative for all the streams. I know some of those judge calls that we had to do were a little dicey, kind of, you know.
We got to do what we got to do. That's the thing,
I know.
right?
I mean, like, I got to catch them a little bit quicker and you know, kind of communicate to the feature matches a little bit smoother. Hopefully we can figure that out when the Invitational comes around.
Yes.
Because it will be, I'm planning to live stream it and have this kind of set up next time around. So that will be next month. So yeah, congratulations to everyone who made top 4, top 8. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in.
Yeah, and thanks to all our viewers, right, that have been with us through the entirety of the stream, or maybe you've been popping in and out, and those who are watching it kind of in the post, if it's on YouTube or even the VOD itself. So thank you to everyone that's been watching and supporting us, and continue to support us. Enter the battlefield here in Newmarket or in Oakville, right? You can buy all the Magic the Gathering needs you need, and you can watch some great content at the same time. And Ben, do you want to talk a little bit about your piece, where they can support you and kind of the legacy piece, and then we'll close it fully.
If you are located or local to Southern Ontario and you guys are interested in Legacy, we've got tons of stores. Go to your locals and inquire about us. I don't think there's a single local store who doesn't know what we're trying to do for Legacy. So yeah, just talk to them. Have them reach out, or if you want to join us at Legacy of the North on Facebook, as long as you're a community member there and you guys want to support us, visit enterthebattlefield.ca, make some purchases on Legacy. All the stuff that you guys purchase, as long as you're a community member, it will help us provide more prize support for you guys.
Yeah. And it's awesome. So there's tons of avenues, right? Our tournament today, you could have proxies, right? It's financially tough to get into this game sometimes, so
I mean,
we get it.
Some stores might say no to proxies. Again, go to your local game store, support your local game store, inquire. We'll try our best to accommodate for all you guys.
Yeah. So thanks everybody throughout today and future days to come, and we will see you next time from Ben and I. We had a blast, and we'll see everyone around, and hopefully we'll see you in some Legacy games too, okay? Thanks, everyone. Have a good night.
Take it easy, guys.